Hello, students. This is Neeta Biju again. Welcome to another class of business studies. Today, we're going to start a new chapter, that is the fourth chapter, planning. Planning, as we have already studied in the first chapter, in all the functions of management, planning comes in the very beginning, the first and foremost important function of management, planning. So, we have in detail as a chapter, and this planning is nothing but all about how to start, when to start, where to start. So planning is required everywhere. So basically in today's class we'll be studying about the meaning, concept of planning. So planning is required in a business organization, even in non-business organization. For everything we need first to plan. In order to organize an event, we need to plan. In order to plan a vacation, in order to have everything smoothly in a well organized way, we need to plan. So planning is the first step whenever we are looking forward to do something. So here basically in an organization, planning refers to thinking in advance what is to be done, how it is to be done, and who is to do it. It refers to setting up of objectives and targets for a fixed period of time and formulating an action plan in order to achieve them effectively and efficiently. So planning bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to be. So always planning is something like deciding well in advance what is to be done and how it is to be done. And it is one of the most basic managerial function. So before doing anything, before taking any step in an organization, a manager must formulate certain plans and policies. That is, he or she should have an idea of how to work for or on a particular task. So planning is very closely related to some creativity and innovation in managers. So managers should always see that planning is done before formulating or before setting any objective. So the first step in planning itself is setting of objectives. So only then a manager will know where he has to go, how he has to go about it, who should do it, when to be done. All these question marks are actually answered in planning function of management. So planning is like bridging the gap between where we are today and where we want to go tomorrow, where we want to be tomorrow. It bridges the gap from the start to the end. So planning is something where all the managers at every level are required to do, and it requires taking decisions since it involves making a choice from alternative courses of action. So planning is a very important function of management, and it comes at the beginning of any other function or any other activity. So planning is just like alphabet A, which starts at the beginning. For any step taken, we need to plan. So now we need to also study about the importance of planning. Why do we need this planning? So this is one basic or general question asked by all. After all, why should we plan? So planning is of course very important. It's very relevant. It is very much necessary as it tells us where we have to go, and it also provides us guidelines, instructions, directions. It also prepares the managers and the organization for facing the risk of uncertainties, and it foresees the future. And therefore planning is very important, especially in a business organization. So today we'll be also studying about the importance of planning. one by one. The major benefits, importance of planning can also be called as the benefits of planning as well. So we shall study that one by one. The first one is planning provides direction. Second one, planning reduces the risk of uncertainty. The third one, planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. The fourth one, planning promotes innovative ideas. The fifth one, planning facilitates decision making. And the sixth one, planning establishes standards for control. So these are the 6 points of importance or benefits of planning. We shall do this in detail one by one. The first one is planning provides directions. Of course, planning provides directions to the efforts of employees. Planning clarifies what employees have to do and how it has to be done. Planning ensures that goals or objectives are closely stated so that they act as guide for decision making and what action should be taken and in which direction. And if there was no planning, employees would work in different directions and the organization would not be able to achieve its objectives. So planning is something which shows the management and the organization and the employees the way, the path to achieve the goals or the target or objective. So the goals and the objectives are very clearly defined and stated, and each person, each individual is given the task, assigned particular work or task in order to fulfill it, and it shows the right path, the right direction on which way the employees should go in order to achieve the goal. So if goals are well defined, then the employees are aware what the organization has to do and what they must do to achieve these goals. So that is why all the departments and individuals and all the activities in an organization, they work in coordination only because of planning. So it shows the direction towards where and which direction one organization or the employee has to go in order to achieve the goal. And in case there was no planning at all, everything would have been a mess or hodgepodge, because planning is a very important function of management where it defines the direction and assigns the duties and work to the organization and the employees. If at all there was no planning, the organization would not be able to achieve the desired goals or objectives. It would not be successful. So this is why planning is so important. It provides the directions. The second importance or benefit is planning reduces the risk of uncertainty. So planning is one activity that helps the managers, you can see, to foresee the future. Planning helps the managers to face the uncertainties because they foresee the future and anticipate the changes. This helps the managers to deal with the changes and uncertainties. Of course, planning is something like we are imagining what may happen in future and we are getting well prepared. We are preparing the action plans for the future, and we are anticipating the future. That is what is real planning. So when planning is happening, it reduces the risk of uncertainty. Of course, it cannot eliminate any uncertainty. Planning does not eliminate any risk. Risk and uncertainties are bound to come. It may or may not happen, but planning is one very important function of management which will help the management to be ready to accept the changes and be ready to anticipate the uncertainty or risk and be prepared for it. So it is foreseeing the future, imagining the future and getting ready for it is what is planning. So planning reduces the risk of uncertainty. It's ready to respond to the risk. It is ready to face the uncertainty if at all it occurs in future. That is what planning is doing. So planning does, remember, dear students, planning does not eliminate the risk or uncertainty, but planning makes a manager or the organization to face the risk or uncertainty and be prepared for it. The next benefit or importance of planning is planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. So planning serves as basis of coordinating the activities and efforts of different divisions, departments and individuals, and this ensures clarity in work, and work is carried on smoothly without any interruption. So unnecessary and useless activities or repetition of activities can be minimized or eliminated. So when we are talking about planning reduces the overlapping, repetition of work and any unnecessary activities, wasteful activities is always reduced and minimized when we are planning, because planning coordinates all the activities and efforts of different divisions, departments and individuals. It totally eliminates the confusion and misunderstanding and clashes between the departments and individuals, and therefore it's very clear. It ensures that everything is clear cut, clear action and clear work and task, and every work is smoothly carried on without any problem, without any interruption, without any disturbance, without any hindrances. Everything goes on smoothly. That is what planning takes care about. So here planning reduces overlapping means repetition. Planning reduces wasteful activities, anything that is unnecessary, useless, any activities that is not much required is minimized and totally eliminated. So that is why planning is so important here. It reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. The next importance is planning promotes innovative ideas. Planning helps the management to come up with new ideas and make new plans. Planning is an intellectual process and it makes a manager more innovative and creative, that leads to the success and prosperity of the business. So planning promotes innovative ideas. A manager should always be creative. A manager should always bring new ideas with new concept. So planning is the first function of management. Therefore, new ideas can take place and managers can become more and more creative. So this is what is planning promotes innovative ideas. So it is the most challenging activity for any manager, for any management, because it has to foresee the future, and this foreseeing the future will lead to action plans, and these action plans will lead to the growth and prosperity of the business. So it helps the managers to bring out some new ideas and new methods, and you can also say to be more and more creative. This is what planning is helping all about. The next importance is planning facilitates decision making. Planning helps the managers to foresee the future and make a choice among the various alternative courses of action. Planning helps the managers to select the best course of action and thus helps in taking the right decision. So planning is one very important function of management. It foresees the future again, and that is why in order to know the action plan, what a manager has to first do is nothing but he has to select the best alternative courses of action. For that, a manager has to analyze and study thoroughly each and every option or alternative courses of action, and then select the best and most feasible, most profitable course of action which will help the organization to achieve its objectives or goals. That is why planning involves setting targets and predicting the future conditions and helps the managers to take the right decision. That is how planning helps the management to take the right decision, to select the best option or alternative courses of action among the various options and alternative courses available. It helps the managers to take the right decision. The next importance is planning establishes standards for controlling. Again, we have studied what is controlling in the first chapter, just a basic concept we have already studied in the first chapter in the functions of management. So controlling is basically checking the performance. So everywhere while checking the performance, we have the standard set. We have the target and goal and objective set, and then the actual performance is compared with the standard set, and then we find out whether there are any deviations, and if at all there are any deviations or any difference or any variations, then corrective actions to be taken. So this is what we studied in the basic concept of controlling in the first chapter. So planning involves setting of goals. Planning provides the standards against which actual performance is measured by comparing actual performance with the set standards and find out the deviations if any, and suggest remedial measures or corrective actions. Therefore, planning provides the base of control. So it is a foundation of control. It is a very base of controlling process. So planning is where we set the standards and goals and objectives, and with the help of these standards we compare the actual performance and come out with our end results and find out what are the deviations, and if at all there are deviations, or an organization should take corrective actions, remedial measures, in order to eliminate the deviations and help the organization to achieve its goal and target. So this is what is the base for control system. This is all for today's class, dear students. I hope you have understood. In our next class, we shall study about the features of planning. Thank you.